What's up guys, Igor is here, and today we're gonna take a look at a really clever opening trick which allowed this player to beat a strong master in just 8 moves. Plus there will be some special announcement at the end, so if you're interested, keep watching. This game started with pawn to c4. It's the game between Doroshkievich playing white and Tukmakov playing black. Tukmakov was an international master at the time, later on became a strong grandmaster. He was a coach of Wesley So and a number of other well-known players. And so far, these are just relatively standard opening moves. English opening, which is also a reverse Sicilian. White plays pawn to d4, black replies pawn to e4, taking the knight. But instead of moving the knight, white plays the intermediate move bishop g5. Which makes sense, of course. He wants to develop the bishop, simultaneously attacking the queen. Black plays knight f6, also a very natural thing to do. And here white thought that he doesn't want to move the knight backward, because it would make its position more passive. The knight certainly may go to e5, which is a normal move, but anyway, the knight has not much to do there, and most likely it would only have to take that knight on c6 on one of the following moves, which certainly doesn't give anything to white. It would just be a waste of a few tempos for just an equal exchange, and therefore white decided that instead of this he can do a better thing, a counterattack. He played pawn to d5, which looks like a very strong move. Black took the knight on f3, and white took the knight on c6. Now notice that at the moment the material balance is equal, just both sides took a knight. And in this position black took the pawn on g2. Now, what can white do here? If white were just to recapture the pawn, then again, at the moment, the material balance would be equal. Remember, previously they just traded the knights, and now they traded pawns on g2. So here black would just be able to win the pawn, actually. So if he takes that pawn on c6 with either of his pawn, black is a pawn up. And that's why, for that reason, white does not want to go into that line. But he calculated variations carefully, and he decided that, instead of taking the pawn on g2, he can make this intermediate exchange on d7. And then after black would take this pawn like this, white would recapture the pawn on g2, the material is equal, white has more active position, and everything looks fairly good for white. But at this moment, there came something really unexpected. Can you guess what black played here? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it, and if you can't find out, write it down in the comments below. Black player all of a sudden took the pawn with his knight, which is a very, sudden thing, because not only it's a move backward of the knight, somewhat a clumsy move which blocks the black's bishop, but also it exposes the black's queen. So at first sight it may seem like just a blunder or some really weird move, but funnily enough, at this moment white actually resigned, because he realized the black's clever trick. The thing is, if white would take that pawn on g2, alright, then here the variation is really obvious. Black would just grab the bishop, simply getting this extra piece. So white can't really do that. But what if white would just, take the queen? Seems like the most obvious thing to do. Well, in this case, black would take that rook on h1, not only getting the queen back by promotion, but also winning the white's rook. And therefore, at the moment, black is just a whole rook up. He won the rook, and therefore, it's clearly winning for black the decisive material advantage. And at this point, white just resigned. I bet his face was looking somewhat like this when he saw the black's move knight takes d7, and he was like, oh. And remember, once again, it was an international master, which is, at the time, at 1970, the time where this game was played, was equal to the modern-day grandmaster. So losing the game in just 8 moves was certainly something very unusual for a strong international master. And of course, guys, my team and I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a great holiday season. And of course, we prepared something special for you. Therefore, if you want to hit your chess goals in 2020, you can currently get our premium courses with a big discount, and it's a variable discount, meaning that the faster you act, the greater discount you get. Plus, 2 of the people who get their courses now will also get a free 1-hour private lesson with me, which I do very rarely and costs a lot, but you will get it for free, while the other guys will get the recording. A lot of our students managed to achieve their chess goals, just like this guy next to me. You might have heard of him, Garry Kasparov, achieved great results. Obviously, I'm kidding. Kasparov is not my student, but we do have a lot of legit students. I'm really happy that we managed to serve students from almost every country in the world, and we've got thousands of students who managed to achieve international titles, became title players, hitting 2000 rating and whatnot. We've got a lot of people listed here in our student section, plus way more, which we couldn't include everyone, of course, on one page. But anyway, if you want to improve in chess in 2020, definitely you gotta take advantage of this opportunity. Click the link below or on the screen and you will be able to get a huge discount on our courses, plus get a chance to have a free private lesson with me where I'll be able to personally assist you in improving your chess and showing you the blueprint for your improvement, which I'm really excited about. Actually, I think it's the first time where I'm doing this kind of thing. So guys, if you're interested, click the button below and happy holidays.